Good morning and welcome to Sunday School at Trinity Lutheran Church. I am excited to do our call and response again today. Are you ready? Because God is good!
All the time!
And all the time?
God is good!
Excellent. Thank you, thank you. We need to find another blessing to put on our blessing blossom. And today's story, we're just doing an overcap of all that is Easter. Now, Easter is really even greater than a week-long celebration. Beginning with Palm Sunday, when Jesus rides in on a donkey, and everyone recognizes him as the king, and they wave their palms, all that good stuff, all the way to the very end of Easter, when we see that he's not in his tomb anymore, and he appears to some people, even after he's dead. Wow. Cool stuff. So I'm going to very simply draw the cross. There we go. So Easter, the majority of the Easter story is about how Jesus died on the cross. Before that, a couple things happened, and after that, a couple of things happened. So we are ever blessed that Jesus understood God's plan and was willing to make it such an amazing sacrifice for us. So let's read more about it. Sparks Bible Yellow Version. We're actually going to be reading page 454, but I'm going to start by looking at some of the pictures before that. And if you're in the Brown Sparks Bible, it's page 1097. All right. So these are the pictures of Palm Sunday. So this is the Sunday before Easter, when Jesus comes into the town to celebrate Passover. And he sends the people ahead and says, hey, bring me a donkey and I'm going to ride into town on that. And they do. They don't even own it. Nobody had planned ahead or anything, but God has a plan and he made it right with the owner's heart, so there was no stealing involved and all that good stuff. And he even had the room set up. And did they have 6 months reserved in advance? No, like we have to do. Nope. It was all planned ahead by God. Very cool. And so he rode into town on the donkey, and all of the people lined the streets like a huge parade, waving their palms and throwing their jackets on the ground so that Jesus could be treated like royalty, recognized as a king coming in all his glory. That's the super fun celebrating part. It gets a lot deeper and darker after that. So let's keep going. The next portion of Easter we just talked about this a couple weeks ago. The Last Supper, when Jesus calls the disciples together in that room to celebrate the Passover meal. And before he gets started, he washes their feet. He does something a servant would do, an act of service, and shows them that he's a different kind of king, and tells them more about God's plan. It's not the plan that they had in their mind, but it's God's plan, so it's good. And he also celebrates communion with them. This would be considered the first communion. And then he heads off to the garden, a quiet place, for some prayer, because this was a pretty big deal. He knows that he's headed off to die on the cross. It's not going to be easy, but he's willing to make it work. Oofda. And he's betrayed by Judas. Peter denies him 3 times. So now all of his friends have run away. And he's trying to, he's brought before Pontius Pilate. And then finally, he's killed on the cross. That's Good Friday. So we went from Palm Sunday, now we went Monday, Thursday was when he had the Last Supper. And now we're at Good Friday, when he dies on the cross. And there's great weeping. Mainly because we didn't have a clue. We didn't understand God's plan as to how this would work. But if you saw anybody die, it would be a pretty sad gig anyway. But we didn't understand God's plan. We still believed he was going to be a king like we understood kings. But then wait, that's not the end of the story. Here's where we're going to begin reading today. So these are some of the women who were in that group who followed around with the disciples a bunch, and they're bringing spices. Because at that time they didn't have embalming and all the other stuff that we do when people die to preserve their body. for the people who are mourning. So they brought all sorts of spices and stuff, and this was a way of showing great love to Jesus. And they have to, when they get here, let's see if the rock is still in front of the tomb where they laid him. Let's see, page 483. It was early in the morning on the third day after Jesus died, and the sky was pink and red with the first lights of the sun. The women didn't notice the sky. They hurried to the cave that contained Jesus' body. Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, led the way. Two others, Salome and Joanna, carried the spices to rub on the body of Jesus. They had a job to do. And when the tomb of Jesus came into sight, they froze. Uh-oh, they had forgotten about that huge stone that sealed the opening to the cave. How are they going to move it? And the women kept going to the cave anyway. As they came closer, the women could see that the stone was already rolled away. And they peeked inside. Oh, it was dark in there. Brr, it was cold in there. Drip, drip. It was damp in there. What? It was empty in there. Jesus was gone. An angel appeared in sparkling white clothes, and the glow from the angel brightened even the darkest corners of the cave. And the women shielded their eyes from the blinding light. Don't be afraid, the angel said. We've heard that before. Don't be afraid. The angel told Mary that when he told Mary, you're going to have a baby. It's going to be baby Jesus. Many, many times when Jesus greets us, or when an angel greeted people, they started with, don't be afraid. Okay, so Jesus isn't here. This is a place for the dead, and Jesus is alive. Hurry, the angel said. Go tell the disciples. And the women did not delay. They ran to tell Jesus' friends what they had seen and heard. Oof, Mary bumped into a man and she tripped and fell at his feet. Wait, she knew those feet. A familiar hand reached out to help her. Wait, she knew that hand. Do you see the little hole in his feet where they nailed him to the cross? And he had holes in his hands where they had, again, nailed him to the other part of the cross. So that's how she was able to recognize him. Yep, she knew that smile. It was Jesus. Hello, friends, Jesus said. And Jesus was really alive. And the women hugged his feet and shouted with joy. Now go tell the others the good news, that I am alive, Jesus said, and I'll meet them in Galilee. I can't wait to see him again. And the women had a new job to do. They had to tell everyone that Jesus was alive. Wow, so much going on this Easter week, so much for us to celebrate this Easter week. From the identifying that Jesus truly is our King and Lord, all the way down to the amazing sacrifice he made for us by dying on the cross. And then back up to understanding that it wasn't just death done and that's it. No, that was the beginning of the amazing portion of the story, that he beat death. That we don't have to be afraid of death because he was able to raise up to heaven and make a home for you and me. So we have some projects to make today as we celebrate Easter. So come on over to the table. Now you have some options today. You might want to make your own cool palm leaf. Look at this. Popsicle sticks and a piece of green cardstock or paper and some tape to stick it all together. How cool, because Palm Sunday is coming and I want to have a palm to raise because I know that Jesus is King. Love it. Some people may choose to make a different kind of palm leaf. Is one better than the other? Absolutely not. They both serve the same purpose and function. Love it. Palm leaves of your choice. Or you could take out your scissors and cut a nice sheet of paper in the front to make the tomb where they put his body. And then you need another one to cut out a circle so you can roll the stone away and find out the amazing news that he is risen, that he's no longer in the tomb where we keep dead bodies. Instead, he's alive and walking around before he's headed up to heaven. That's how Mary actually ran into him in the garden. Wow. Third option, you could choose to break out the Play-Doh, make your own super cool tomb, and a little stone to put in front of it to close it off. And then you have to roll away the tomb to understand that he is risen. All right? So some of you might not have any Play-Doh at home. I get it. Then you'll choose one of the other options. Some of you may have some Play-Doh at home. Great, make it happen. I can't wait to see what amazing things you choose to make. All right, and thanks be to God.
Chug it, chug it, chug it, chug it. Back, back, roll. Chug it, chug it, chug it, chug it. Back, back, roll. Chug it, chug it, chug it, chug it. Back, back, roll. It's time for another TLC Sing Along. And it's time for the Chugga Chugga song, otherwise known as Psalm 25, Radical God. Get those actions ready, those voices at full volume, and let's give praise to God. Hey, Katie, you ready to sing Psalm 25, Radical God?
I sure am.
Then let's do it. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. In you I trust, O Lord. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. In you I trust, O Lord. Higher than mountains, deeper than seas, wider than the ocean is your love for me. With me on mountains and the valleys below, all right inside me everywhere that I go. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. In you I trust, O Lord. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. In you I trust, O Lord. Higher than mountains, deeper than seas, higher than the ocean is your love for me. With me on mountains and the valleys below, all right inside me everywhere that I go. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. In you I trust, O Lord. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. In you I trust, O Lord. Chugga, 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 clap, clap, roll. Chugga, 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 clap, clap, roll. Don't you know he's a radical God? Roll. Don't you know he's a radical God? His name is peace.
Peace.
His name is love.
Love.
And he left his heaven above. So in case you haven't heard the word, he's radical God. Chugga, 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 clap, clap, roll. Chugga, 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 clap, clap, roll. So let me tell you why.
Let me tell you why.
He's a radical God, he's a radical guy.
He's a radical God, he's a radical guy.
He made the earth and the sea and the stars and the sky.
He made the earth and the seas and the stars and the sky.
And he came to be a man, and he came to die.
And he came to be a man, and he came to die.
But he didn't stay dead.
But he didn't stay dead.
Because he couldn't stay dead.
Because he couldn't stay dead.
He rose from the grave.
He rose from the grave.
Let's all applaud.
Let's all applaud.
That's why.
That's why.
He's a radical God. Don't you know he's a radical God? Don't you know he's a radical God? His name is peace.
Peace.
His name is love.
Love.
And he left his heaven above. So in case you haven't heard the word, he's radical God. Chugga, 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 clap, clap, roll. Chugga, 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 clap, clap, roll. Chugga, 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 chugga,
Clap, clap, roll. Chugga, 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 clap, clap, roll.
Thanks for singing with us. Have a wonderful week. God bless.